I'm a 45-year-old woman married to my husband for 22 years. We have 3 wonderful kids together, and our youngest just left for college this year. Lately, I've been consumed with fear that my husband is preparing to leave me, and I don't know what to do. About 8 years ago, I made a terrible mistake. I had an affair. It wasn't planned or premeditated. I was in a dark place emotionally and felt disconnected from myself and those around me. I've struggled with mood swings, depression, and anger issues for as long as I can remember. The affair lasted a few months, and when my husband found out, it devastated him. He confronted me, and I confessed everything. I was overwhelmed with guilt and shame. In the aftermath, I became emotionally unstable. I even threatened suicide during our arguments. I realize now how manipulative and unfair that was to him. Despite everything, he chose to stay with me, mainly for the sake of our kids. He wanted to keep the family together, and I am grateful for that. However, I know I've made it incredibly hard for him over the years. I still struggle with controlling my emotions. Small things can set me off, like the kids not being ready on time or running out of coffee. I would yell and get upset, sometimes to the point where the kids would end up in tears. There were times when I'd lose my temper while driving, saying things like threatening to crash the car. I hate that I've been this way. Whenever my husband tried to talk to me about my behavior, I'd get defensive. Sometimes I'd turn it around and criticize him or the kids, which I know isn't fair. I've often blamed my hormones or emotions, claiming I wasn't in control, and used that as an excuse not to seek help. He suggested counseling, anger management, and even looking into hormonal treatments, but I've always resisted. Part of me was scared to face the reality of my issues, and another part stubbornly believed I could handle it on my own. Now that our youngest is off to college soon, the house is quiet, and the distance between us feels more significant than ever. My husband has become more distant, and I can't shake the feeling that he's preparing to leave me. I suspect he stayed all these years primarily for the kids, and now that they're all out the nest, there's nothing keeping him here. I'm terrified. I love my husband and don't want our marriage to end. I realize now that I need to take responsibility for my actions and make real changes, not just promises. I'm finally considering seeking professional help, but I'm worried it might be too late. How do I begin to repair the damage and rebuild trust after causing so much pain? Is there still hope for us, or should I prepare myself for the possibility that he might leave? Edit, I wanted to add some details. Over the past few months, I've noticed several changes in his behavior that have alarmed me. He opened a new bank account in his name only, which is unsettling because we've always shared our finances. Whenever I try to discuss budgeting or bills, he becomes evasive and quickly changes the subject. He's spending more time away from home, citing work commitments or meetings with friends I've never heard of before. When I ask for details, his answers are vague. It leaves me feeling anxious and excluded. I've also noticed that he cleared out many personal items from his home office. Recently, I found a folder containing information about apartments and condos in the area, which makes me think he might be looking for a new place to live. Emotionally, he has become distant. When I bring up future plans or suggest activities we could do together, like going on a cruise, which has been my dream for so long, he seems uninterested or non-committal. He's also started focusing more on his appearance, exercising regularly, updating his wardrobe, and even changing his hairstyle. While I'm glad he's taking care of himself, it feels like he's preparing for a new chapter without me. Update. Hey everyone, so what I've been dreading would happen, happened. Yesterday, my husband sat me down and handed me divorce papers. Just like that. He told me he's done with our marriage, called me awful and irresponsible, and said marrying me was the worst mistake of his life. He said after we go separate ways, he never wants to see me again and never want to hear anything about me again. He also told me not to even think about asking for alimony. He pulled out a folder full of thousands of videos. Apparently, he's been secretly recording me over the years whenever I've lost my temper with him or the kids. He played some of them, and they were awful. In one video, I was screaming at our youngest because they weren't ready for school on time. I was red in the face, cussing at them while they stood there shaking. Another clip showed me in the car with the kids. Something had set me off, so I was shouting at my husband that I'll drive us all off a bridge. It was recorded from the back seat, so it looks like my child was the one recording, which is truly horrifying. Watching myself act that way was shocking. I didn't recognize the person in those videos. Who was that angry, scary, out-of-control woman? Was it really me? He said that if I tried to contest the divorce or ask for alimony, he'll upload all the videos on a drive and post the link on Facebook so all my friends, family, and coworkers can see. I'm absolutely devastated. I know I've messed up in the past. I haven't always handled my emotions well, and I've hurt the people I love. But I never thought it would come to this. The idea of those videos being out there for everyone to see terrifies me. Not just for me, but for our kids too. I feel like my world is falling apart. I don't know what to do or how to handle this. Part of me wants to fight for our marriage, to beg him to give me another chance. But another part wonders if it's too late and if I should just accept it. Any advice would mean a lot right now because I feel completely lost. Thanks for listening. Final update. I'm moving out of our home next week into an apartment. Packing up years of memories feels surreal and heartbreaking. My husband has told everyone about the divorce. Our friends, family, even acquaintances. It's overwhelming to have so many people know about our personal struggles, and I feel exposed and vulnerable. There's a chasm growing between me and my children. They don't call me much anymore, and when I reach out, they often don't answer. Sometimes they'll pick up after I've called multiple times nonstop like a mad woman, but they sound annoyed and conversations are short. I understand they're hurt and probably don't know how to process all of this, but it breaks my heart. I regret not seeking help earlier for my issues and for the pain I've caused them. I'm filled with remorse over my affair as well and the choices that led us here. I wish I had been brave enough to address my problems instead of running from them. My affair partner has been supportive during this time, which is really the only thing holding me from breaking apart so completely. While I'm grateful for that, it doesn't erase the guilt and sadness I feel about my family falling apart. I'm scared about the future. How do I carry on without my husband? I'm terrified that I've lost not just a partner, but also a friend. Everything is flashing before me. All the moments and memories I'm about to lose forever. Deep down, I know that moving out and giving him space is the right thing to do, but I'm not ready. I don't know if I ever will be. Is there any way to begin rebuilding relationships with my children and possibly find forgiveness? Thanks for listening. Now some comments. I'm so sorry you're going through this. Your husband's behavior is absolutely unacceptable and downright abusive. Threatening to expose private videos of you at your most vulnerable moments is not only cruel, but could also be illegal. It borders on blackmail and coercion. No matter what mistakes you've made in the past, nobody deserves to be treated like this. It's not your fault whatsoever that you've been struggling with your mental health, and it's brave of you to acknowledge that now. Please consider reaching out to a therapist or counselor who can help you sort out these complex emotions. Also, consult a lawyer to understand your rights. Protect yourself legally against his threats. There's no telling where he will stop. So, lawyer up now. Reading your update made my heart ache. It's important to take responsibility for our actions, and you have done that. But what your husband is doing is crossing so many lines. Secretly recording you over the years, and then using those videos as leverage to threaten and control you, is manipulative and abusive. What he's doing is not okay under any circumstances. Please prioritize your safety and well-being. Reach out to a legal professional to understand your rights. Those videos may constitute illegal recordings depending on your state's laws. Also, consider seeking support from a mental health professional who can help you through this incredibly tough time. You're not alone, and you don't deserve to be treated this way.